Hello, hello, hello. This is a. It's not a coffee time. No, it's not a coffee time. Honest, Gov, it's not a coffee time. No, this is a film review. We'll ditch doing titles. Nobody wants intros and titles. Let's go old school. Let's just fade in and do it, and then fade out again. Someone suggested on the live stream that I should check out Creation Stories. So I did. Creation Stories is currently showing on Sky TV or Now TV. Oh, it's rebranded as Now. Oh, I wish I hadn't have done that. And for those who aren't in the know, Alan McGee is the fellow who created Creation Records, who was involved with quite a few bands back in the 80s and 90s. And yeah, so he gets his own biopic, which is a bit curious. And I thought, okay, let's see where it goes with this. It's a bit of a train spotting reunion as well, because not only do we have Ewan Bremner in it doing his piece, doing Alan McGee, but it was also co-written by Irving Welsh and produced by Danny Boyle. I think it was Danny Boyle's name went on the credits when I was looking. So yeah, it's a bit of a train-spotting reunion, and yeah, it's a curious one. It's how long is it? Let me have a look. I'm looking. Does it say 105 minutes? So it's just over an hour and a half. And it tells you that it's a fairly straight telling of his story from growing up in where did he grow up? Where did Alan McGee grow up? In Glasgow, East Kilbride. Him growing up, hanging around with Bobby Gillespie from Primal Screen, who he'd later have on Creation Records. Richard Jobson appears in it as his dad, which was nice. I haven't seen him around for a long time. Richard Jobson, he was in that band that did Into the Valley, that one. And he's also a TV presenter in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s. Did a lot of TV presenting, but he plays Alan McGee's dad, and he's quite good at it actually. And it's it's fairly light and frothy. However, does it stretch to 90 minutes? I don't know, that's the problem. I don't think it does. I don't think it really does stretch that far. I mean, there are some amusing anecdotes in there. Again, I'm not going to spoil it because it's no point. There's not a lot to it to spoil, But there are some amusing anecdotes in it. But I don't think there's enough. I don't think there's enough memorable material. Also, it's kind of a little bit hamstrung by its budget, because it does come across as a TV movie. Some of the scenes, like it's supposed to be in LA and that, and party scenes, they seem to be done. Can only get a few people in, but with a little bit of careful redirection, they could have made it look a bit better. But I've got a lot of time for Ewan Bremner. Again, he was spud in Trainspotting. He's been in loads of things. He's a great actor, so he does a good job of pulling off Alan McGee, and so does Leo Flanagan. He plays young Alan when he wanted to be in a band and was inspired by the likes of Bowie and whatnot. So there's not a great deal of meat on the bones, Again, and also you've got to really kind of be into the whole Alan McGee Britpop story, because that's where it kind of takes off when Oasis come onto the scene, because he's more famously noted for signing and discovering and pushing Oasis, and we all know where that went. The really interesting part of it, and I think they could have dwelt on this a little bit more, is, again, I don't know if you remember back in the mid-90s, it was McGee and Oasis who kind of fell in line with New Labour and Tony Blair. We all did. We all fell for it. And so, there's a scene where Oasis, gets up and Noel says, Tony Blair, he's the man. And Alan McGee is courted by a new Labour, falls for it, but then realises afterwards that we've all been duped because, let's face it, all these politicos are all the bloody same. That's the lesson. And I think there could have been more emphasis on that. And instead it is kind of played for laughs. We have Jimmy Savile turn up, which is amusing. So yeah, I mean, it's light and fluffy. It's not going to scare the horses. They got to use some of the music. I don't think all of the music's in it, but they got to use some of the music in it. But I was thinking if this had come out again, I think it's based on. Is it based on his biography? Oh, it was directed by Nick Moran. I don't know if you know him. He made his name in Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, but I think he's done more directing work these days. He also appears in it as Malcolm McLaren, which is quite fun. So yeah, and also Jason Fleming appears, and whenever I play the Jason Fleming drinking game, whenever he appears, you have a little shot of something. You should join me on that one. Yeah, I was thinking. I think it's actually based on. Is it based on his book? Irving Welsh wrote a book, but of the same name. I think again, if this had happened closer to the time, maybe at the tail end of the millennia, maybe in the early 2000s, I think this would, the stories would have been fresh in the mind, and people would have been more engaged. They might have got a bigger budget. But now it's a bit of a curio. It's not. I'm not saying it's a bad film. It's just it is what it is. It feels like a TV movie. That's that. Is it worth a watch? Yes, if you like the idea of finding out more about Alan McGee. If you have no interest in him, then it's really not worth your while. I don't think, because there's no real, you don't really learn much from it. I don't think it's like earth shattering. It doesn't give you a look into the artistic process or anything. It really is one for the real Oasis fan, I guess. But even them, they're not in it a lot, because it's all about Alan McGee, of course. But it shows you that with no talent, because even he says it, he has no talent. With no talent, but a lot of determination, you can make it in the music biz. TM. So we got to praise him for that. It's that kind of movie, the underdog fighting. But it is fun. It's fun and frothy, but it's. Again, I think it's curious. It's a bit of a curiosity that's out of its time, But for me, who likes music biographies, I really liked it. But for the casual viewer, it's going to be a little bit, because the managers of bands, the managers and the people that run labels, I guess it'd be equal to like a biopic of Richard Branson, I suppose, doing the early days of Virgin Records. Would anyone want to watch that? I don't know. But it has a good, scene where he freaks out because he's taking too many drugs. That's fun. It reminded me of Fear and Loathing, the Terry Gilliam thing adaptation. It reminded me of that, so that was fun. And Ewan Bremner is very watchable. He's very good. He really puts his life and soul into his performances. So yeah, that's who you're really watching it for. Irving Welsh, of course, does appear in a cameo. Keep your eye out for him, and yeah, that's it. That's my review. Should you watch it? If you've got an hour and a half that you it's a Sunday afternoon. Put your feet up. Could be fun. But if you have no interest in Britpop or music, or it's not gonna delight you, So there you go. That's my thoughts on this film. Creation Stories, directed by Nick Moran, written by Irving Welsh and Dean Kavanagh, based on Irving Welsh's book, about the life and times of Alan McGee, and that's that. But I mean, it's worth it for the Malcolm McLaren and what he says about alchemists and alchemy. But it also tells you, it's kind of made me sad, because it is of a time when music meant something to people. You know, people had a passion for music, and it just made me realise just how far gone that culture is now, and it's in the past. So it made me feel a bit sad as well. So there you go. Anyway, thank you for watching. My name is Darren Locke. This has been an amazing film review, and that's that. Thanks for watching. Ta-da!